Welcome to the class of endocrinology and reproduction. In this session, we are going to discuss about the pancreas, its morphology, and the pancreatic hormones and the role of pancreatic hormones. In the previous session, we have discussed about the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are the glands which are present at the top of the kidney. That's the location of the adrenal glands. Part of the adrenal glands. There's the adrenal glands divided into two regions, outer cortex and inner medulla. And hormones of the adrenal gland. There's the cortex produces the corticoids and steroids, whereas medulla produces the catecholamines. And the functions of adrenal hormones: they maintain the metabolic activities, they are involved in the osmoregulations, and the medullary hormones are responsible for the facing of emergency situations. Coming to the concept, pancreas. So pancreas is a glandular organ situated in the left side of the abdominal cavity. The pancreas is surrounded by a small intestine, liver, and spleen. In adults, the pancreas weighs about 60 to 100 gram and measures about 15 to 24 centimeter in its length and 2.5 to 6 centimeter in its width. The pancreas perform a dual function. That's the thing but two function. That is the exocrine function as well as the endocrine function. The exocrine part of a pancreas secretes a certain kind of digestive enzymes like pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, and pancreatic juice. So they are involved in digestion. This is the exocrine part, whereas endocrine part of a pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans and the cells are called acinines. The islets of Langerhans consist of three different kinds of cells: alpha cells, beta cells, and gamma cells. They are involved in secretion of hormones called endocrinal hormones. The endocrine part consists of islets of Langerhans. The islets of Langerhans secretes different hormones like insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. So, coming to the histology of Langerhans, Langerhans islets consist of pancreatic acinized cells. The acinized cells are lined by cuboidal epithelial cells. There are three kind of Langerhans cells, namely alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. The alpha cells composed of only 25% of Langerhans cells, whereas beta cells comprise about 65%, whereas delta cells comprise about 5 to 10%. So this is the structure of pancreatic gland. As the pancreas, the red cells indicates alpha cell, whereas green cell indicates beta cell, and the yellow cell indicates the delta cell, and the gray cells indicates the PP cell that secretes the enzyme called pancreatic polypeptide, and the purple cell or the epsilon cells that secretes a digestive enzyme called ghrelin. The pancreas is located at the left side of the abdominal cavity and it's surrounded with the different organs like a intestine, stomach, and the spleen. Coming to the secretion of pancreas, the exocrine parts of the pancreas secretes the digestive enzymes like pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, and other digestive enzymes. The endocrine part of the pancreas consists of alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. The alpha cells is responsible for the production of glucagon, whereas beta cells helps in synthesis and secretion of the insulin, and delta cells involved in the secretion of somatostatin. Coming to the role of the insulin, which was secreted by the beta cells, it helps in transfer of glucose to the interior of the muscular tissue and the liver tissue. They are involved in glycogenesis in liver and muscles. That's nothing but formation of glycogen from the glucose. They promote ribosomes to synthesis of the proteins. They involve in the fat metabolism, and they involve in the or they promotes the growth of organisms. So these are the role of insulin. Coming to the role of glucagon, The glucagon stimulates the glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis. Glycogenolysis refers to breakdown of the glycogen into glucose. The process is called glycogenolysis. When you are fasting or when you are in fast, the body requires the energy. The energy was provided by the breakdown of glycogen into glucose. That happens because of the hormone called glucagon. And the second phenomena is called gluconeogenesis. That's nothing but formation of the glucose from a non-carbohydrate source, that is called gluconeogenesis. Here the glucose is formed from the fat cells, that is called gluconeogenesis. It increases, that's nothing but glucagon increases concentration of the glucose in blood, and it protects the hypoglycemic attack. When you're fasting, the sugar level decreases in a blood, that results in the hypoglycemic condition. When this happens, the glucagons converts the glycogen to glucose and increases the serum glucose level. Or it may go for gluconeogenesis, that is carbohydrate, that is cholesterol or a fat get break down into glucose, so in turn that increases the concentration of the glucose in the blood. The process is called gluconeogenesis. Coming to the role of somatostatin. When the somatostatin are secreted by the delta cells, they act on pituitary and inhibits the secretion of the growth hormone. That it has an inhibitory in function. It acts on pancreas and inhibits the secretion of insulin and glucagon. It acts on gastrointestinal tract and inhibits the gastrointestinal secretion and decreases the absorption of the nutrients. It acts on nerve system and it shows the neuromodulatory activity and decreases the sleep. These are the role of somatostatin. Coming to the deficiency of pancreatic hormone, decrease in the secretion of insulin results in the disorder called diabetes mellitus. That's nothing but decrease in the insulin increases the blood sugar level. That condition is called diabetes mellitus. Decrease in the secretion of glucagon is responsible for the condition called hypoglycemia, that is decrease of a blood sugar level, that is called hypoglycemia. And decrease in the secretion of somatostatin induces the neurodegenerative disorders and gigantism and acromegaly. These are the disorders caused due to deficiency of the pancreatic hormones. So the glucose test is done to know the concentration of the glucose in the blood serum. There are three kinds of tests. One is the random sugar test, the second one is the fasting blood sugar test, and the third one is the oral glucose test. The random sugar test, the sample is taken at the random time, at any time. The normal range of the random glucose level will be 200 mg per deciliter. Coming to the fasting blood sugar test, in this kind of test a blood sample will be taken after a overnight fast or fasting. That's called fasting blood glucose test. The normal range in a fasting blood sugar test will be 100 mg per deciliter. More than this, they are prone to diabetes. And the third test is the oral glucose tolerance test. In this test, the patient gets fast overnight. The fasting blood sugar will be noted, and then they are going to administer the sugary liquid or a juice. Then the blood sugar level are tested periodically for next 2 hours. That test is called oral glucose tolerance test. Here the normal range will be less than 140 mg per deciliter. So these are all the tests performed to detect the concentration of the sugar in the blood. The random sugar test at the random time, fasting blood sugar test, the blood sample will be taken after overnight fast, and the oral glucose test. Here the patient will be kept for fasting overnight and the blood sugar level is noted. Then they are going to administer the sugary liquid or a juice, and the sugar will be or glucose will be periodically tested for the next 2 hours. So this is called blood sugar test. Coming to the summary, pancreas is a dual functioning organ which is responsible for both the exocrine and endocrine. The exocrine secretions helps in digestion, whereas endocrine secretions helps in maintaining a glucose and sugar level. The Langerhans cells of the pancreas are concerned with the endocrine secretions. They are going to secrete a three different kind of hormones: insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. Insulin maintains the glucose concentration in the blood, whereas glucagon increases the blood sugar level. The somatostatin is an inhibitory hormone that inhibits the growth, as well as they induce the neuromodulatory functions, and they inhibits the gastrointestinal secretions.